I just can't get over how good this chess game is. With the white pieces, opening with the king pawn is Sina Moverhead. He's just 15 years old. Look at that blitz rating, pushing 3250, and his opponent cracking on with the Sicilian defense is Mango Chutneyson. World number 1 does also go by Magnus Carlsen. Great battle. It was in round 7 of Title Tuesday, 10th of Feb, and the winner of this game went on to win the whole event here. So after this second knight enters the game, Magnus decides to get his out. This bishop streaming into the game, it's a Rossolimo kind of position. Knight d4 now. You're not usually supposed to move the same piece twice, but here we nudge a bishop. White says go ahead. Take it if you want. Move that knight for the third time. Magnus says no. I'm going to instead kick it back. This looks very, very ugly. How are you going to get the pawns going? Well, let's see. Magnus now drops back. Don't ask me what's going on. Too deep for me. Especially this move. I mean, goodness gracious me. This looks like it's straight out of the Crushing Lines playbook in Lotus Chess. Literally looking at Crushing Lines earlier myself in the Sicilian. Screen recorded to use in videos such as this one. I use the app every day. It's so good. Have a look at it. Free to get started. Link below. You know the drill. Why can't you take this knight here? Well, after pawn takes, the knight's discombobulated and the king is in the firing line. You have to block with a minor piece, whichever one you go with. Pawn pushes and you're winning back your material and you have a bit of a raging attack. Stuff like this. Anyway, let's pause there. None of this was played. In the game, Magnus didn't take. He coolly and calmly just developed with the pawn push, looking to get his bits out. What on earth is this? Looks so ugly, but wait for it. Magnus prepares to stick that bishop on the chocolate slide, and here we go. The reorganization, the thrust in the center of the board, the classic Sicilian capture, pawn takes back, and after castles, quick king safety fist bump exploded out through the cameras. Chewbacca's favourite move, the Wookiee one. It's Magnus to play, and Magnus in a tough spot here. You know, if you start playing stuff like b6 and bishop b7 and queen c7 and rook c8, slowly develop the queen side, well, white can remaneuver with this knight into some dark squares, bishop g5, and this huge attack can start raging actually. So Magnus decides, no, it's time for action in the centre. Let's crack on with the e-pawn here. Now, it looks very ugly to give this square, but Sina plays the best response. Pawn d5, locking up the centre of the board, taking the space. Magnus goes forward, and actually you can take. This wasn't played. We're in the back cave. The knight gets kicked from pillar to post, but when it spins all the way around into the f3 square, this is a long-term weakness. White's got the long-term space, and black's got some ideas, sure, but these guys are kind of struggling for squares. It's white that's better. Let's run back. No takes. We saw pawn to b3. Given the question mark, you can immediately crack on with the f-pawn, but Magnus flicks this one in. Queen takes, and now he roars like a mighty chess lion as he takes that space with the pawn. Bishop developing onto this diagonal, eyeing up the tender backwards pawn. b5 in response. This rook hits the open file, and you do have to respond to that invasion threat. This is a big part of why Magnus started with b5. This is what he's prepared. Rook a7. Strange looking move, but it covers a very important invasion square. This was actually a killer idea. So prevented. Knight g5 therefore. Going for this weak one. f4 from Magnus. This one rotating back. h6 encourages the knight in because this is what Magnus has got planned. Both players now going toe to toe. Cena giving up an entire pawn, but recognizing that his compensation on this backwards one should give him enough play for it. H3, rook d7, knight rotating back into the game. Magnus sidesteps the king. This one finally hits a decent enough square. Went on a very long journey there. And now Magnus misses a shot. His best move. Pawn d5. If that one came to you, I've no idea how. It's just a great liberating move. Very often in Sicilians, if you can achieve d6, d5, you're doing okay. You're equalizing or more. You know, this is how black can actually start steamrolling. Pick up the pawn in a minute, doing really, really well. So we run back. This was a great shot, but missed. G5 from Magnus. Now we understand it. He sets up the overpowered party hat pawn formation. We know he loves a little dance, especially on camera. But Cena's got something planned that will make all Star Wars fans proud. It's R2D2.
H5D2, 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 C5, H5D5, E1, E1.
There we go. This knight rotates and the other doubles up. So much pressure barreling down the file now. However, H5 and your king's being attacked. Now Cena is about a minute ahead. He's doing so well. The entire game it feels like he's seen a move ahead. And this is no exception. Because most players against Magnus here are going to freak out. Maybe play knight h2. Possible to defend, but not the best. And Magnus just starts taking over. But Cena plays Queen c6. And the idea is, if you push on with the pawn like you were planning, then takes, pawn recaptures, and a tactical shot. Knight g5 check. And you're winning an entire rook, unless queen takes, but then the queen stops defending this one. She was overloaded, and it's white doing great. You can push pawns, but you lose a rook. I was about to say you can lock up the position. Long story short, white's got enough defense and enough attacking threats as well. So let's run back. No g4, allowing this. King h6 covers the square, but now Cena crashes through. Not only gobbling up the backwards pawn, but creating threats to win an entire rook. So you just don't have time for this. So takes, we get a whole ton of rooks going into the blender. And after bishop takes, you still can't go g4. Analysis mode here. The center collapses, and it does so through the use of tactics. Not possible. Knight is pinned. No good checking. King steps away. There's nothing here. White's fine. Covered all bases. Attacking the black king if you're not careful. Let's back it up. We didn't see g4 allowing the center to collapse. Magnus tries for this one. Apparently king h7 best. But now another excellent star move. The only move to keep a significant advantage here. Queen d7. And again it covers the g4 push. I mean, Magnus Carlsen just getting made to look like a schoolboy here. Bishop c7 now, not allowing the exchange. Keeping up the pressure on the centre, recognising the long-term weakness of these pawns, and before you can say happy 60th birthday Maurice Ashley, can you believe it? Doesn't look a day over 45, must be the fact that he's got the shiniest head in town, warded away all those evil aging spirits down through the years. What a guy, what a commentator, what a player. Happy birthday to him. It was in the last week or so. Queen d5 centralises, huge pressure on the e-pawn, and so the bishop slides back. Covers for the third time. How are you going to make progress? Here we go. What does Cena play? Bishop d8. This is some lovely chess. Obviously, if the queen moves somewhere, then this collapses. So we see knight e7. Eternal pin now. Horrible. Queen is saved, hits the b4 pawn. It's just a terrible structure, one that only a mother could love. Bishop f8 desperately tried by Magnus, but now his centre drops since that one left the protection. Queen takes, a glimmer of hope for the man who loves to play without the queens, but come on, he is now 2 pawns down after the G pawn drops. He does spin the knight around, catching up on the clock a tiny bit, but Cena's clock management is excellent. He's ahead. Here we see an exchange of prisoners. First the B pawn protected, then the F pawn. Now we see King F1. Finally this one drops. Yes, Magnus has got one back, but after this brilliant check, watch this. Bishop takes on F4. What do we notice? Yes, the king is in jail and cannot move. All we need to achieve is some kind of knight check from either F5, G6 or G2. But G2 not ideal, you don't want to let the king out. Let's see how that plays out. Here comes that stallion rotating around. Bishop F6 is a mistake because you can now go on the journey into the promised land. It's coming soon to a theatre near you. Knight E5 and Magnus resigns because this mate is completely unavoidable. You know, engine saying chuck a knight down here or something. Bang. This would have been really beautiful. Not every day you mate with the minor pieces. Magnus just gets completely outplayed, and Cena went on to do this, storm the tournament, win it by a clear point ahead of Magnus Carlsen in second and ahead of the rest of the field by a point and a half. Only dropped half a point during one game. Very impressive stuff. Hope you enjoyed. Also have a look at the video on screen, a video I released today, stunning Bobby Fischer game, World Chess Championship, members only one. If you do want to support the channel, it's always greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot for watching, hope to see you again soon and have a great day. Cheers.